If you managed to survive 2025 just like me, congratulations. Now we all get to suffer 2026. But no, seriously, Happy New Year everybody, and I'm glad we actually made it this far. What's actually more of a miracle is our chronic smoker of a brilliant animator, Hayao Miyazaki, because today, by the time this video comes out, it will have been past his 85th birthday. I mean, seriously, that guy will smoke every goddamn day, and he won't suffer lung cancer. I'm pretty sure those cigarettes that he's smoking is probably giving him immortality or something. That could be the only real reason why he's still alive right now. More importantly, I made a video about him about 2 years ago in terms of his feud with Harvey Weinstein, which I feel really bad for releasing that video because of how mixed up of information I got from it, especially after actually reading the book. Prior to making that video, I didn't actually read the book. I only read articles based on what happened in that book, but there are different details that I have left out in that video that I felt really guilty of releasing out because it made it seem like I was spreading misinformation, and this isn't that kind of channel I want to provide for the people who actually want to watch my content. So I figured I owe it to the people that actually have subscribed to this channel and have actually committed to watching these videos to actually give them the proper information so that I can have some form of integrity in terms of making content. That's kind of what this video is. It's me just kind of cleaning up the mess that I made with that video, especially considering it's the 4th popular video on my channel, and actually give you the proper information that is in relation to this topic. So that being said, let's go through this video together and we'll clean up the mess that I made here. So let's get that started. So with Miyazaki's new film coming out, I decided I want to talk about his older work. More specifically, how he tried to get it out into the US. The one I'm actually talking about is Princess Mononoke, which actually came out in July of 1997 in Japan and was released in the US
2 years later in October.
Basically, when Miyazaki was trying to ship this to Miramax, which was the company he was working with at the... Okay, first of all, Miyazaki had nothing to do with shipping or distribution. All he did was just direct and make the films. That's with every film. And the one who's charged producing is Toshio Suzuki. He's the one who does all the business work. In terms of trying to get these movies shipped to America, it was like you see here, it was a 2-year process. Mostly due to the fact that a lot of film distribution was being transitioned from VHS to digital DVDs. So that transition only made things more difficult for the distribution. Because now they had to distribute both versions, both digital and VHS. Steve Alpert, the one who wrote the book, he was the one who was in charge of getting with Disney in order to ship these films all out in America. And Princess Mononoke was the first one to ever be shipped out, and it was head with Miramax. Just to get the movie out to America, it was unfortunately left into the hands of a very greedy dictator of a producer named Harvey Weinstein. Dictator is putting it lightly, he's a fucking asshole. The point is, he got the film and he basically took it and said it's too long and decided to ship it back. And Weinstein's mindset, basically, if he sees a film that's more than 90 minutes, he feels the need not to release the film because, that makes sense. Correction, Harvey Weinstein actually did like the film, and he actually watched it all the way through. And he wasn't talking to Miyazaki, he was talking to Steve Alpert at the time. Because, again, Alpert was the one who was getting these films shipped and trying to get contracts signed in order to get rights to distribute the films with Disney. And Weinstein, at the time, was the president of Miramax, which was connected with Disney, hence why he was solely working with Disney. So that's the reason why it went to him. It wasn't out of bad luck, and it wasn't out of malice that he was involved with the shipping process. Releasing films like this. Princess Mononoke wasn't the only film that he tried to subject to doing this, but he also had a bunch of other films too. Although one of them wasn't Pulp Fiction, which he and his brother Bob had personally produced the film for Quentin Tarantino and basically helped him release the film back in 1994. 3 years before Princess Mononoke came out. It baffles me as to why he would think this is necessary and why he thinks this needs to be done. I'm not entirely sure what's going through that man's head, but it's clearly not logic. If it were logic, it would have to mean he would have to have watched the film, in the same way he did with Pulp Fiction with Quentin Tarantino. So the only reason why I would think he would come to this conclusion as to shipping the film back to Miyazaki would mean that he never watched the film. He just saw the runtime and just shipped it back to Japan. Okay, that part is actually true, that he wanted to cut the film. and he was talking to Steve Albert directly at the New York Film Festival where Princess Mononoke was being released and shown to the public for the first time. But Albert wasn't too fond of it because it was Miyazaki's and Suzuki's film. He didn't want to tamper with it. He wanted the film to be released the way it was. And Harvey Weinstein was the one who threatened Albert to say he'll never work in this town again. So with him having such issues with films being at a certain length was actually correct and was very puzzling with him producing Pulp Fiction and various other Tarantino works that are more than 2 hours long. So that left me very puzzled. What I said earlier is more correct than what I say in this video. Again, he actually did watch the film in its full entirety, and he said he liked the film. And he also did say that he wanted to cut the film in half into 90 minutes and threatened Albert to say he'll never work in this town again. It wasn't until he regretted the decision and actually went back to Albert and apologized to Albert, saying, "I'm sorry that I threatened to cut the film. I was out of line, and I apologize. I want to keep the film the way it is." Which is something I never would expect from Weinstein, especially being the manipulative asshole that he is. But there was a little bit of integrity that I didn't expect to see when I was reading the book, and yeah, it surprised me. What is also more interesting is that when Steve Albert actually consulted Miyazaki and Suzuki into wanting to cut the film, they were somewhat interested as to what it would be like if they were to cut the film. But then they found out that Steve Albert actually refused for the film to be cut and to leave it the way it was. To which, surprisingly, they were both disappointed in that result, in that they actually wanted to see what it would be like if the film was cut short, which baffled me personally because, like, that's your movie. It's like, why would you want someone to just taint your film like that? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe this is an American thing for me. It's like, if another American tried to tamper with my American film, I would be kind of pissed. But maybe things are different in different cultures. There was some sort of different cultural dialect between Miyazaki, Suzuki, and the rest of America. Not just with language barriers, but just with different customs. But that's more information in the book. This video isn't really about that. It's about the feud. You want to know more about that? Just read the book for yourself. So if you've actually watched that previous video and have noted that I've spread misinformation with that, I hope this video actually shows a little more integrity in that aspect, and I hope it comes out a lot better than what I intended for. So if you did watch the whole thing, thanks for hearing me out. I appreciate it.